Introducing the Yale Unity entrance lock. First, let's look at what's included with your new lock set. You will find the following components in the box: the internal and external lock furniture, 2 RFID contactless keys, 4 AA alkaline batteries, door position sensor magnet, door position sensor, striker plate, striker box and strike box fixing screws, 60mm backset latch, 2 spindle extensions, spindle extension shaft, 3 sets of mounting screws, door template and installation guide. Before we start, please make sure you have all the tools required for the install. Tools you may need for the installation include 25mm spade bit, 10mm and 12.5mm drill bit, 54mm hole saw, electric drill, chisel, Phillips head screwdriver, pencil, ruler and measuring tape, and door installation kit. Please ensure you wear any personal protective equipment, such as safety goggles, when using the drill or chisel. This video will provide you guidance for installing the Yale Unity entrance lock. First, you will need to prepare your door for installation. Using the door template provided, position the template on the door and mark out the 4 10mm mounting holes and the 2 54mm centre holes. Also mark out the door position sensor hole on the edge of the door and 25mm latch centre hole. Using the 54mm hole saw, drill out both the 54mm holes in the marked position. Ensure you drill through from both sides of the door, making sure the holes are straight. Using the 10mm drill bit, drill out the 4 corner fixing holes. Ensure you drill through from both sides of the door, making sure the holes are straight. Using the 25mm spade bit, drill the 25mm latch hole horizontally through to the 54mm bore hole. Clear the holes of sawdust and other loose materials. Using the 12.5mm drill bit, drill the door position hole horizontally to the minimum depth of 40mm. Clear the holes of sawdust and other loose materials. Slide the latch into the hole and mark around the latch faceplate. Make sure the latch is square or level in the hole when marking to ensure proper fit when escutcheon is installed. Using the chisel, chisel out the faceplate recess to the appropriate depth until the latch sits flush with the edge of the door. Insert the latch with the angled face of the bolt facing towards the door jamb. Fix the latch into place using the timber fixing screws. If you have a hardwood door, it may be necessary to pre-drill the screw holes. Using the diagram on screen, establish whether the door you'll be installing your lock onto is left or right-handed. Once identified, you can now prepare your lock for the correct handing to suit the door entry. Your Unity entrance lock has an internal and external handle, and the internal handle has a button at the top of the faceplate. The external handle has a contactless card symbol. You will need to establish the thickness of your door to use the correct mounting screws and spindles. If your door thickness is greater than 45mm, you will require a spindle extension and a spindle extension shaft. You'll also need the relative mounting screws that suit the door thickness. You can find this information in your instruction guide. To hand the lock, hold down on the metal slide tab on the inside of the handle located towards the bottom. Rotate the handle downwards to the left or right, depending on your selected handing. Ensure you complete this step for both handles. If you feel any resistance when handing, do not force the handle. Release the tab and handle to try again. Next, insert the door position sensor through the 12.5mm hole by feeding the cable through first and then fit the sensor in place. Remove the battery cover by the release tab located at the bottom of the internal lock furniture. Place the battery cover aside for the time being. Before fitting the lock to the door, ensure the clutch is straight and aligned on the internal and external lock bodies. The clutch is aligned when the point is in the centre. Take the internal lock furniture and feed the main cable and the door position sensor cable through the top hole and then fit the lock into place. Connect the door position sensor cable from the internal furniture to the door position sensor cable fitted previously through the door. Taking the external furniture, connect the main cable from the internal furniture into the power housing found at the top of the external furniture. Hold the internal furniture and take care not to pinch any of the cables. Fit the external lock furniture to the door and into place. When fitting the lock to the door and into place, it is important to ensure that the clutch spindle is aligned and sitting with the latch as shown. If this is not correctly fitted, the lever may not retract the latch or could cause the lock to jam. If retrofitting to an existing door, check the latch is centre. You may need to adjust the latch fixing slightly to fit the clutch spindle into place. Using the Phillips head screwdriver and selected mounting screws, fix the internal and external furniture together. It is important to keep the door open for the next steps. Do not close the door. The batteries can now be installed into the lock. To install the batteries, push down on the battery tab to open the battery compartment found on the internal furniture. Install the 4 AA batteries, taking careful note of the indicated positive and negative pattern shown on battery compartment. Push back and slide up the battery compartment cover to lock into place. The lock will power up with a series of beeps. Test that the latch retracts when turning both the internal and external levers. If not, press the internal button to switch between lock and unlock modes and try again. To complete the installation, place back the battery cover top end first and lock into place. Now the lock has been installed, we need to install the door position sensor magnet and strike plate to the door jamb. Close the door against the jamb and mark the centre of the latch where the auxiliary bolt meets the door jamb. Centre the strike plate on the door jamb and mark around the plate. When positioning the strike plate in place, make sure you test that the auxiliary bolt is depressed when the door closes. Using your spade bit, drill out the latch hole to approximately 25mm deep. Chisel out the marked area to approximately 3mm. Fit the strike plate into position and fix into position using the timber fixing screws. Close the door against the jamb and mark where the door position sensor lines up. Taking your 12.5mm drill bit or spade bit, drill out the magnet hole to approximately 15mm deep. Fit the magnet into the door jamb. Your lock is now ready to be programmed to complete the setup. Download the Yale Access app to begin this process. For more information on the Yale Unity entrance lock, visit yalehome.com.